back to get it. Bärtell, far boards. Now Pätrик, and we are going to have double penalties called here. Bärtell is going off along with Fойn, I believe. The referee is Joseph Kampala of West Germany.
Well, the two players went to the boards. The forechecking took a little run at him there, the Norwegian player, and then they both got their sticks up. We saw the slash later on after coming together on the boards, and both teams will play for a side.
Norway lost to Czechoslovakia 10-4 to open this tournament, something their coach called a good result. But then they were bombed by Finland 16-2, which is why the 3-3 tie against the United States was so shocking. The team's now playing a man short. Back into his own zone is Kerry Wilson to Lidster, number 4. Lidster working through center ice to Flatley. Flatley squeezing through on the boards, hustles after that puck in the corner. But then he's taken out of the play and is cleared around by Skore to the far side. Watch for number 19. He played a couple of shifts in the National Hockey League. Interference to Bärtell, and Fойn slashing at the 45-second mark, so the double penalty has been called. Lay-in behind his own net and starting out for Norway. We're early in the hockey game here at the Zetra, and Norway not going anywhere at this moment. Ellingsen clearing it down into the Team Canada zone. This will be icing as it's touched at the side of the Team Canada net by Rasс Kurtnolll, and the faceoff will be back inside the Norwegian zone.
Very strange icing. The defenseman held on to the puck. I see his coach giving it to him there on the bench as he goes. Ellingsen held on to the puck. He looked like he was trying to keep control of the puck while his team was in the middle of a change, and then instead of waiting until the change was made and making the good play, he just simply iced the puck.
Face off and moving it back to the line there was Kурtnolll in against the boards. At the point, Redmond, that big goal the other night against Finland. The shot in there taken by Kурtnolll at the side of the net, and covering up is Jim Martinsen, a 24-year-old from Oslo, a truck driver by occupation, in his second Olympics here for Norway. So far as Canada against Norway, they've only met in the Olympics once before, and that was when Norway was the host team back in 1952 at Oslo. The Edmonton Mercuries were Canada's representative, and we beat them 11-2 at that particular time. Puck cleared into the Team Canada zone, jamming against the boards now, and trying to poke it loose is Gagné. Now Canada with a little skating room, and out they come with James Pätrik carrying the puck to the line. It's dropped off. Kурtnolll getting set. The shot, and it's off the pad of Martinsen. And the Norwegians take over. Back out to center ice. Christiansen over the line, but his pass for Kарлstad was wide. Far boards in there checking for Canada is Brüs Драйвер, and it's pinned in against the boards with some help from Tippett. And we'll get a face-off down in the Team Canada zone. They're going to call it for a face-off outside the blue line as we look into the penalty box area. Робin Bärtell, University of Saskatchewan player, playing here for Team Canada. He's played very steady hockey, Tom.
Yes, he's not the spectacular end-to-end rushing type of defenseman, but he's played very solid inside his own zone. And in fact, the whole team has played very well defensively. Only 5 goals against in 3 hockey games. You can't play much better defensively in a tournament like this.
And from the face-off, Muller. It goes to Tippett, but back out at center ice, Abrahamsen. He clears it ahead. And the team captain, Mira, to the line now. He's number 8 for Norway. Back out to center ice, and it's checked loose. And down into the Norwegian zone. Checking there is Muller, number 27 for Canada, going in against the boards, and he's wrestled in there and held once again for a face-off. From the face-off behind the net, it's taken for Norway by Kарлstad. Kарлstad to the line, not out, is checked away. Good job there by Donnelly, but it comes to an open wing. Now Pätrik moves up. Pätrik is hit in against the boards by Abrahamsen. Inside the zone, Donnelly shot, and losing sight of it in front of the net there was goaltender Jim Martinsen, but it was cleared out of harm's way by the defense. Without his stick there is Abrahamsen trying to pin it in there. Donnelly's in there, so is Muller, and tempers seem to be a little short. We'll get a face-off deep inside the Norwegian end.
Well, one thing the Norwegian team is doing, it seems like they're throwing all kinds of caution to the wind. I noticed in their forechecking, they've got all 3 people deep trying to force a mistake. Inside the zone, they seem to have 2 men on the puck all the time. And of course, that's a good ploy to try to get up in the game, force a mistake. But on the other hand, if you're able to beat those 2 and 3 men, those 4 checkers or 2 men committing to the boards, then you're going to be home free and get an opportunity. But they seem to be going all out to try to get a lead here.
Now down over the line comes Norway very quickly. Hustling in is Bestring. He gets put into the boards by Flatley.
See, there's all 3 players.
Right. It's jammed right in there.
All three players in against the boards. All 3 of the forwards all in deep. And even their point men had moved in off the line. But they're going right after Team Canada.
So the face-off will be deep inside the Team Canada zone now. As you look at Pat Flatley, he'll be on his way to the New York Islanders after all of this is over. He's played very well, and he's just picked up a penalty. The coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics continues in a moment. Score in this hockey game.
Kerry Wilson made a slick little play there to Gagné. He made the little dip inside the blue line, held onto the puck long enough, put it to Gagné, and we saw Gagné there taking all kinds of time. He had lots of time to wind up, and that shot was right on. Perhaps the best chance for Team Canada in quite some time early in this period.
Now all set for the face-off as number 17 there is Sven Lien, an all-star in their own league, a center from Puriset. Puriset is where the team that Eric Heiden played for after the 1980 Olympics. Played 1 game with them and then turned commentator and went home. So very brief hockey career for Heiden. He's now a cyclist, of course, and a 5-time gold medalist at the 1980 Olympic Games. Here's a lead pass over the line for Courtnall. Courtnall cutting through with some room, throws it in front, they score! It was off the sliding defenseman. Courtnall will get the goal, I'm sure. Although the way they score things here, maybe not, but Courtnall was certainly the man, and they have given it to Courtnall. 1-0 Canada.
Well, Courtnall jumped right through here. You see him getting the good opportunity, but he sees his teammate in front of the net. He tries to throw it back into the slot, and the defenseman, knowing that he's there, blocks the puck and then carries the puck into his own net. No chance for the goaltender. Courtnall sees him, tries to put it in front. There's the defenseman trying to block it, and the defenseman actually slides it by his own goaltender, trying to block the 2-on-1 pass.
So it'll be Courtnall scoring at 9:44, and Canada leads this hockey game 1-0. They haven't given an assist on it. There was a play made. Cleared into the Team Canada zone. That all-important first goal then. Canada leading 1-0 as it goes to Donnelly on the far boards. It winds up at center ice. Chris Johnson pinned in against the boards and held, and some shoving going on between Donnelly, one of the main combatants in there, and also moving in and getting his licks in as Muller. Tempers have been a little short in this game on both sides.
Well, Norway has come out here. They're hitting. They're very aggressive. They're going. Everybody's on the puck. They're really putting some pressure on Team Canada. And Team Canada's fighting back here a little bit. It's a good thing we got that first goal. Keep putting the pressure on them. Keep getting ahead in the hockey game, and it'll be a different type of game. We can jump ahead a few goals.
So we got Muller out there along with Tippett, number 8. And they're going to throw Muller out again. He's not had too much success in there. Donnelly's the other winger. Now Tippett is going to take the draw. And from the face-off, it is Tippett getting it back to the defense. Moving up is Bartel. Through center ice, gets over the line, and then shoots it around the boards. Donnelly's back there. Donnelly out in front, trying to work it to Tippett. Unable to. Tippett kicks it off the boards, gets it back out to center ice. Driver to Bartel. Bartel ahead, trying to stick handle his way past the defense was Donnelly. He was held up right there. Drop pass that was offside, but to Chris Johnson, number 20. And the face-off outside the blue line once again. Canada leading 1-0 at 10:31 of the first period. We mentioned the other score. Sweden leading Poland now in the second period of their game by a score of 3-1. Wilson to take the draw against Mira, who his coach, Per-Arne Westbury, says is his most consistent player. Number 8 for Norway. Now here's a lead pass. Wilson didn't see it coming. Now he hustles after it. He's onside as he goes in behind the net. Overskates it. No, they say he wasn't onside. So they call it for icing. And back into the Team Canada end for the face-off.
You know, Team Canada, throughout this tournament, there have been many, many times where icing calls could have been called against them, and just through sheer hustle, they've been down the ice. I think it's an indication of the way the team's playing, the aggressiveness and the enthusiasm that they have. They've been hustling down there, and a lot of icing calls have been saved just through hustling, getting down to touch the puck first.
Now the face-off, Flatley ahead. Here's Dэрren Lоу. Don't forget that big goal he scored the other night. Scores! 2-0 Canada. Glove side. Take a look at it, Tom.
No mystery to this one. Lowe just scooted right out of his own zone. It was a one-on-one situation. He got a lot into it, and he beat the goaltender on the short side. Here he is, getting everything he's got into it, slapping it, beats him on the glove side to the short side on the one-on-one situation. But Lowe just took off in that neutral zone, showed a lot of speed there before he put all that oomph into the shot.
Well, Dэрren Lоу, as Canada takes a 2-0 lead. Face off right at center ice. Abramson over to the far side for Kарлstad. Clearing it in right past Bärtell, and Bärtell will have to hustle back for it behind his own net. Now to Lidster. Lidster at center ice. That's Muller. Muller squeezing through. You see why this kid is very highly thought of, Tom. Muller has come on in this tournament, I think, as he's gained confidence. We're going to get a penalty call against the Norwegians, and that was for that play against the boards, which I think is going to be called interference. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment. Take the draw, and he wins it back to Redmond. To the far side for Bärtell, and Redmond gets it in the corner. Redmond along the boards, but Flatley couldn't get that all the way down the ice, but there's Wilson hustling again, and they wave off the icing as Wilson did the job, and now he's going after it behind the net, but it was quickly cleared away by Kарлstad. Norway on the rush now as Abrahamsen over the line. He just flipped it in there, and Gosselin, he's checked. The puck is checked away by Abrahamsen in the corner. Abrahamsen now back out to the point. There's Yarsbo in the corner. Barryson is in there, also Wilson. The side of the net now, and the Canada breaks loose. Here comes Kerry Wilson out to center ice along with Flatley. Wilson flipping it to Flatley, who just knocked it out of midair and controlled it just inside the line, but then lost it just out at center ice. Norway coming back now with Fojn to the line. It's dropped off, and Canada picks it up with Courtnall hitting the line. What a move! Courtnall over the line now. Put it right through the defenseman's legs, but finally is knocked down by Yarsbo behind the net. Canada getting a little more physical now. Gagné goes against the boards. And the Norwegians come out. But it is knocked down by Courtnall. He throws it over to the far wing. Gagné's over the line. Gagné with Wood. Wood couldn't get it. Courtnall does, but then it was stripped away from him. And Norway comes right back out. To center ice with the puck is Christiansen. Drops it off. They try to shot, and it's wide of the net by Thoresen. Cleared out in front again. Knocked out of midair. Wood shoots it out to center ice, and Kарлstad will go back near his own line for Norway. Kарлstad ahead over center ice. But it is collected out there by Driver, and on, I guess, a two-line pass. We just have to guess at what the Driver's saying. Hey, I picked that puck up. How can you have a two-line pass to me? The lines have been somewhat questionable.
No question about it. The linesmen look as if they're a little inexperienced handling the game today.
Face-off inside the blue line. And it'll be Muller taking the draw. Tippett on that line as well. Canada has not had an official shot on the new goaltender Goldstein, which I don't know is a good thing or a bad thing for the goaltender. Lidsters shooting it to the line. Out at center ice now. Skore to the far wing, and that's Vestring going in. Vestring chased out of the play by Bärtell, but Skore, who's all over the ice, goes in there. He's being checked against the boards by Muller. Loose puck picked off. This is Leanne. Leanne shooting it in. It's gloved by Gosselin. Leaves to the side of the net for Tippett. Tippett in the corner. Far side now, and Canada's trying to organize as Tippett deflects it to center ice, but it's intercepted by Skore, who turns back and then drops it off for Vestring. And it's cleared right back in again. Bärtell back behind his own net. Off the boards for Lidsters on this side. He's number 4. Lidsters ahead off the stick of Donnelly, and is cleared back out, and an offside is called, and we'll have a face-off outside the blue line. Tonight and every night throughout the Olympics, join Lloyd Robertson and the CTV Olympic team for a late-night Olympic wrap-up. The official results, scores, and the latest Olympic news featured following the news here on CTV. That'll be tonight and every night during the Olympics. From the face-off, Pätrik shooting it in. For Norway, Abrahamsson. Head for Johansson. Off the boards, Müller. But Patrick's got it at center ice once again, and he shoots it in. Goldstein out of his net. Flips it off the board. Fойn is checked in there by Low. Also moving in is Flatley. But the loose puck comes behind the net, and Müller has got it. Müller starting out now, drops it off. And out at center ice, Norway on the tack once again. Shot in. Out of his net is Gosselin. Leaving it for Redmond. On the far wing. Redmond getting it again. At center ice, Canada now moving as Low gets it over the line. There's a quick shot taken by Redmond, but as they pile in there, Flatley and Wilson, the collision, and the goaltender holds on, and we'll have a face-off. 1934 of the first period, Canada leading 1-0, or at least 2-0. The goal scored by Canada by Courtnall and Low. For Courtnall, his first goal of the tournament. For Low, his second. His first, a very memorable one, that backhand that got Canada back in the game against Finland. Courtnall. Actually, the winning goal, wasn't it, Tom, in that game as the puck is cleared around the boards and out to center ice past Lidsters.
No, the tying goal.
All right. Cleared back in with players trapped, and with 13 seconds left in the period, Canada leading 2-0. We'll have a face-off outside the blue line.
But certainly it was a big period. There we have the sport fan Rainbow, who's at almost every major sporting event in the world, and he's been. I saw him on the ski hill. He was at the Luge the other day. He was outside the arena. He's everywhere.
He was in here too. And you imagine his travel bill has been pretty good here. Forget about just getting here. Puck is cleared in. Seconds left in the period now as it's golfed around the boards and out to center ice, and that'll do it. The period is over. Shots on goal, Canada 11, Norway 5. The early shots by Norway were very, very good ones, but Canada have persevered, and they've scored the 2 goals. 2-0 the score. We'll be back. On goals by Courtnall, his first of the Olympic hockey tournament, and Dэрrén Lоу, his second from Flatley. And Canada with 2 goals in short order, and now have a 2-on-1 over the line. Wilson tried to get it in front and could not on that pass out from Flatley. Now deep inside the zone, it's Müller along the boards for Johansson, who can't get it out of the zone. Flatley just working it along the boards, flips it in. A loose puck, and as Flatley hustles in after it, Low then took a high stick. Reached up as he went after that puck at the Norwegians with Johansson in against the boards. Checked there by Bartel, and Canada again starting out at center ice. Now off carry Wilson's stick and down into the Norwegian zone. Wilson will hustle in after it. Cleared along the boards by the Norwegians. A little more aggressiveness, Tom, early here, and Yarsbu in against the boards with Flatley.
It's been a pretty physical game throughout, really. There's a lot of sort of late hits and a little bit of shoving and so on, and Norway is trying to play aggressively. They're not backing up.
End of 2 periods, Sweden leading Poland 9-1 over at Skanderia. There's Lien, one of the Norwegian stars, one of their all-stars in his first Olympics. At center ice and cleared in by the Norwegians. Ellingson. Lidsters in against the boards. Number 4 for Canada. Tippett can't get it. Cleared into the corner on this side, and Denьo is getting a regular turn out there. No, that's not Denьo clearing it out. It's Driver, and it's cleared wide of the net. Tippett on the far side. Tippett off the boards. Along the boards trying to kick it loose is Muller. He just couldn't get free right at the center line. And back inside the zone, and it's Ellingson. Ellingson at center ice, clearing it to the line. Tucking through the checking is Lien. He gets a shot in there, and covering up right at the side of his net is Mario Gosselin, and is held for a face-off.
Well, you mentioned Denьo. I'm sure that the coaching staff of Team Canada would be very anxious to get a long way ahead of this game and then try to play some of the people that you haven't been able to play. Give Denьo a little more ice. Give Andersson a little more ice. Perhaps even Change your goaltender, as happened in the game against Austria. Give some of those other people some ice time so you're not always using the troops that you're going to count on for Czechoslovakia in the medal round.
Puck in against the boards now. It's an interesting thought on that subject. I'll pass along to you from Dave King, who was talking to last night about the subject of Denьo and players he hadn't used. Out at center ice now, through the defense is Pätrик. Clears it to the open wing and back to get it, clearing along the boards, but is kept in there by Gagné right at the point. In against the boards, and starting out for Norway is Kарлstad, but pinching in there was Redmond, and it winds up back behind the net. Now Gagné, good pass out, and there's Courtnall. Good work in front of the net, and a good chance there for Wood. But he's unable to get the shot away. Courtnall piles in there again. The whistle goes as it's in the corner, and I don't know why. Tom, did you spot why that whistle went?
Well, Gagné is in asking about that, but as we've seen before in this tournament, anytime the puck goes to the boards and looks like there's going to be a little bit of a hassle, the official blows his whistle quick. They don't want those extra 2 and 3 guys coming in so that people get their sticks up late.
Face-off outside the blue line. Chris Johnson taking the draw against Courtnall. Going into the corner is Driver. Also there is Courtnall. Courtnall kicking it loose. Now gets it again to Pätrik. Pätrik moving it quickly up on the boards, out over center ice, and Karpin is out there now for the first time in this hockey game. Karpin up against the boards now, swings back into his own zone. Beats it ahead for Gagné. Gagné to Courtnall, who was a clear pass to the net, but he couldn't kick that puck up onto his stick. So Gagné moves in. Now Courtnall behind the net for Karpin. Karpin in against the boards, flips it back for Courtnall. Courtnall jams in there against the boards along with Kарлstad, and they hold it in there, and the face-off will be deep in the Norwegian end.
Well, we were mentioning about the roster and players that moving people in and out, and players that haven't played very much. And one of the things that everybody has to keep in mind is that after this game with Norway, all the games are going to be tough, because for sure, before Team Canada is getting to the medal round, the last game in the preliminary rounds against Czechoslovakia, and then it'll be the Soviet Union and either Sweden or West Germany. So there'll be a lot of tough games after today.
There's Bartel's shot that hit somebody in front. That was Flatley, I believe, and deflected just wide against the boards now on the far side, trying to duck away from a check in there, and unable to was Wilson. And it's out at center ice once again for the Norwegian. Fuyn trying to get loose. Now near the line is Mira. Mira drops it off. Now they feed it back to the defense as Yarsbo is back inside his own zone. Cleared off the boards. Good interception there and anticipation on the part of Flatley as the turnover is made inside the zone. Here's Wilson backing up against the boards on this side. Bartel in front, and Flatley looking for the deflection, hit his skates. Here's a shot. They score! Lindster let it go from the far boards, and Canada leads 3-0.
It looks like Flatley got his stick on and just changed direction in front of the net. Kampala is over looking for it. It's announced that Flatley has got the goal, but Lindster moving right in. There we see Flatley just skating across in front of the net, and he had his stick on the ice, and that's the important thing when you're going to deflect. Get that stick on the ice. You can't deflect them out of the air. Look at it there. Just change the direction and brings it underneath the goaltender's arm. But Lindster moving in from the point, and that's what you have to do from the point. You've got to keep the shots low if you want those pucks deflected, and Flatley was in the right spot at the right time.
So it'll be Flatley from Lindster, and Canada leading 3-0, and that turnover, the one that was forced by Flatley, turned out to be a key to the whole thing. Back inside the zone now, Ellingson clearing it out over center ice. Canada leading 3-0. Time of the goal was 5:14. Off the boards, near the line. Poke it up inside the Team Canada zone. It rolls right down to Gosselin. Good move behind the net there by Pätrik. And under pressure, he feeds it into the corner. Redmond out to center ice now on a 2-on-1. Muller with Tippett. Muller to Tippett. Oh, good defensive play there in front of the net by Luseman. Now behind the net, Muller reaching for it. He's got it, gets it out in front of the net, reaches for it himself again, but it is cleared out of harm's way by the Norwegian defense, and they'll take it out to center ice. Into Team Canada territory now, going to his backhand as he circled the net there is Skore, and it rolls into the crease, but there's nobody there to put his stick to it but a Team Canada player, and it's back out at center ice. Skore is all over the ice, Tom. Ellingson, I don't know whether that's desirable or not. Canada can't get it. Now it's over the line. Chris Johnson shooting it. He's wide of the net with it. Against the boards on this side. Bouncing loose, out in front of the net now, moving in is Lusseman. His shot again deflected wide, up against the boards. Wood is cleared into the corner. Canada leading 3-0. We're at the 6:30 mark of the second period as the whistle goes inside the Team Canada end. Face off, and taking it for Team Canada will be Gagné. Driver in against the boards, checking against Vestring. Behind the net, Gagné. After him, Driver as well, but the Norwegians take over once again inside the zone. Going to his knees there is Christiansen. Now it is Vestring. Vestring being pinned against the boards by Driver, and the whistle goes, and there's going to be a cross-checking penalty called against Brus Драйвер. And Wilson cannot win the draw as it's Ellingson. Cleared off the boards and out to center ice. There's a 3-on-1 setting itself up here as the Norwegians come in on the attack, but they kind of messed it up as they got near the net. Having trouble controlling it was Skore as he moved in towards the net. Bergson now in the corner. The far side where Flatley digs it out, flips it out to center ice. Back to get it is Ellingson. Low right in there with him, and Low doing a good job, but Ellingson then ducked away from him and got it out to center ice. Flatley checks him out there, and the puck winds up back in the Team Canada end. Around the boards, Redmond. Redmond will get it back behind the net again. Redmond starting out, beats it back for Flatley. Flatley having problems under Skore's forechecking. Skore digs it out now, and it is finally poked loose and cleared to center ice. Here's Dэрrен Lоу. Low going in over the line. Ellingson's the only one back. He gets the shot away, the rebound. Good save by Goldstein, and there's going to be a penalty call. Goldstein made two good saves. Interference is the call, and I didn't see where the interference was, Tom. Skore, I think, is going to get it, number 19.
Well, back-checking, I believe he was trying to impede Wilson moving on the first shot by Dэрrен Lоу, which was almost a one-on-one situation. He was coming back with Wilson, trying to make sure he didn't get in the play, and of course, in trying to prevent Wilson from getting the shot and the rebound, he's getting the interference call.
So Skore steps into the penalty box. Canada goes on the power play. They'll use Gagné, Donnelly, Courtnall, along with Pätrich and Denьo. 10:48 the time of the penalty. Canada leading 3-0 in this game. Outside of the opening 3 or 4 minutes, pretty much in control of things. Seem to have a little problem getting it going in this game, but once they did, they have controlled the play pretty well. They'll take the face-off all over again. The coach of Sweden is Per-Åke Westberg. He's a Swede. He is a Swede coaching Norway. I say Sweden. Out to the blue line now, Pätrich over the far side. There's the shot. The save is made by Goldstein. That was Denьo, got it away, and he got it again. Now behind the net. Back out near the line. Donnelly, Pätrich moving in, flips it in. Courtnall couldn't see that coming. Back near the line again, Donnelly. Off the boards, in the corner. Courtnall behind the net. Gagné gets some room, works it out there, and then shot it wide. In the corner again. Up to the blue line for Pätrich. Pätrich shooting it into the crowd. Goldstein made the save. It's loose in front of the net. It's tipped away. Courtnall reaching for it, but he can't get it as it's flipped out to center ice by Fойn. Canada with a good pattern here. They're getting people in front of the net, Tom, here on the power play.
More shots.
Now over to Denьo. He moves in. His shot is deflected off the stick of Yarsbo, who's in front of the net. Now flipped to the side of the net again. Courtnall trying to swing around and rolled off the end of his stick, and finally it's cleared down the ice, and Denьo will go back for it. 11:55 remaining, or at least gone in the period. Out at center ice with 45 seconds remaining on the power play. It's Lidstер over the line for Wilson, and he couldn't hold it. Cleared back down the ice by Christiansen. Denьo again. Denьo had it thrown back into his skates, and that was Gosselin who had to help out on his own mistake back behind the net. Now here comes Canada out to center ice with Lidstер. A backhand pass on the far boards. Flatley moving in. Flatley being checked as he moved around behind the net. Now along the boards, out into the slot. Tried to slide it into Wilson. Wilson had skated too close to the net and couldn't get it as the pass was behind him. Kept in at the blue line by Driver. Into Muller batting away at it now, and it's behind the net. Cleared along the boards and past Driver and out over center ice, and Skore comes back on the ice, and the penalty is over. So the icing is called, and the face-off will be back in the Norwegian end. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment. Behind the net, Norway, some forechecking going on deep inside the zone involving Дэйv Donnelly. It comes slowly to center ice as Muller's out there as well. Now Donnelly goes to the boards, and Driver picks up the loose puck, and he's got it out at center ice. A long lead pass. Tippett couldn't get it, but Driver does and shoots it in over the line. Cleared back out over center ice. Back to get it will be Lidster, as it's touched by Gosselin. No icing on the play. Puck is cleared in front of the net, but Driver's right there. Driver off the boards by Muller. Through center ice, Tippett. Back inside his own zone is Lissaman. There's it to center ice. Back for Tippett. Tippett just stops and then fires it right back into the Norwegian zone. There it's Ellingson. Ellingson just dropping it off now. Thoresen deep in his own end. Out to center ice, Norway on the attack. They're trailing in this game 3-0. The shot is blocked by Redmond. Redmond quickly turns it around and brings it back out to center ice again to Tippett. Tippett over the line. Ducked through there was Courtnall, unable to, and then both Wood and Tippett collide inside the blue line, and the puck goes harmlessly out to center ice. Now here's a complete break. Gagné all alone, one-on-one, shoots and he scores! Canada 4-0.
Well, the tip just came off the boards and put right into the middle, and this is what Norway has a problem in forcing the play when everybody's chasing the puck and putting pressure on. That's what happens when you just get that puck through. The puck was tipped through, and Gagné was all by himself in a complete breakaway. And you notice that when he made the deke, watch him go to his forehand. A lot of players go to their backhand. Here he holds the puck in front, now comes to his forehand side, and he's able to put it over top of the goaltender. Now that's something for young players. He keeps the puck at the side. The goaltender doesn't know whether he's going to shoot, doesn't know whether he's going to deke him. There it is at the side, and he comes to his forehand. And he gets more on his forehand than he can going to his backhand, and he puts it over top of the tender.
The old line about how many moves can a goaltender have in a foot breakaway, and he'd used them all up. He was down flat in his back when it went over top of him. Out at center ice, Wood back to the line now, made a good move at the line. Now it's loose in front. There's a quick shot taken by Courtnall in against the boards. Chasing it is Courtnall again. Wood is in there for checking as well, and the Norwegians break out quickly. Center ice, cleared down into the corner off the stick of Andерсен. And turning now, a little heavy hitting going on. Craig Redmond gets it out now. Here's Courtnall's long shot that's juggled momentarily by Goldstein, and then he holds on. And you see the time, 14:59 gone in the second period, and Canada is leading by a score of 4-0. Courtnall setting up Gagné for his third goal of the tournament at 14-14. It's 4-0 Canada. Face off deep in the Norwegian end. Swinging back and trying to throw it into the slot was Flatley. Now he's got it again in the corner. Behind the net for Lowe. Lowe threw it out in front, but there was nobody there as Gary Wilson had worked behind the net himself. Now it's cleared off the boards. And dropped back. Here's Lowe. Lowe in front for Wilson. Wilson in a little traffic. Dropped it off against the boards for Flatley. Pinching in from the point and flipping it into the corner was Dug Lidster. Now Norway. Starting out. Number 5 there is Kарлstad. Ahead to the line and backhanded in by Vestring, but it is called on the offside, and we'll have a face-off outside the Team Canada line.
Well, another quick goal. Come on, get another quick goal here. 5-0 going in, and then it's an easy night from there on in. But don't give the Norwegian team any reason to play here, boys. Don't relax.
Sound like a coach, Tom. I imagine those are exactly the words that are being said right down there on the Team Canada bench right now. 15:33 gone in the period. Around in the corner is Denьo now. He slides it along the boards and bringing it out to center ice is Muller. Muller ducking to the line, trying to squeeze past Lissaman. Whistle goes, and we'll have a face-off on the offside. There's more Olympic coverage on CTV tomorrow evening at 7 o'clock. Johnny Esau, Otto Jelinek, and Brian Pokar will be at Zetra right here for the ice dance and men's Olympic figure skating tomorrow night, 7 o'clock Eastern, here on CTV. Denьo the far side, shoots it in now. And after it is Lien, being checked by Tippett. Tippett doing his usual workman-like job in the checking department. Puck comes out near the line now, and Berryson clearing it off on the far side for Luseman. Luseman going in deep. Berryson trailing, number 15 circling in the corner. He's being checked pretty well by Tippett, and Tippett's the one that kicked it loose. Here comes Tippett now ahead. Donnelly at center ice. Donnelly to Tippett. Tippett to the line now. Tippett trying to sweep around that defense. Lien's checking on him. Into the corner. Back out to the blue line it comes. Moving in now. Denьo. Denьo had to go off the end of his stick. Moves in deep. Tried to force it in front of the net, but it was intercepted. And back out to center ice for Norway is Luseman. He shoots it in. Pätrик behind his own net, left for him there by Gosselin. Out to center ice for Muller. Muller now down over the line with a little room. Muller just stops up now. Backhand pass in front. Here's Carpen. He rolled it in there. Couldn't get the shot away. Hauled down in front of the net as he tried to let it go was Muller. Puck is behind the net now. Carpen backhanding it into the corner. Courtnall moving in there. Courtnall slid in against the board. Puck is cleared along the boards and out past the point man Redmond down into the Canadian zone. Redmond's back to get it. Redmond off the boards. Carpen starting out. Carpen ducks past one check. Now he gets it out to Gagné. Gagné to the line. With some room. Gets it in. Carpen is hauled down. He winds up on the net. And there's going to be a penalty. A clear one on that one. Coppola calls it. Canada will go on the power play again at 17:20.
I guess so. Interference is the call. You see the good little burst of speed. Team Canada and Carpen is driving right to the net into the hole, and he's pulled down. A little bit of a hook there, but the call is interference, and he goes right into the net by the goaltender. The puck just sliding to the outside, but he just broke in between the two defenders, looking for that little tip pass into the middle.
Team Canada power play. They have had 12 chances and have scored just 2 goals in the tournament so far, which is 17%. I'm sure Dave King would like to see his power play a little more productive than that. So the face-off off to the right of the Norwegian net. And from the face-off, golfed down the net, down the ice by Yarsbo. Fojn for interference at 17:20. 4-0 Canada, and they're on the power play. Out comes Lidster. Lidster weaving his way down to the line. Now he's over the line. He's got some speed. He works around the defense, rolls it in front, and Goldstein just puts his glove on that one and halts further play.
Well, the Norwegian tactic here on the power play, or defending against Canada's power play, is to line up along that blue line, and they're not forechecking at all. Their forwards just turning and picking up, and so there are 4 men lined up across that blue line, and it's tough to get that puck over with possession.
Flatley backhanding it into the corner. Mira is back there, and he pins it in, and they get another stoppage. 1:29 left in the power play. Denьo out there working the point along with Doug Lidster, and the up front alignment is, well, they're going to call them off now, so they're going to make a complete change. Skating off the ice, number 20 there, you see Kerry Wilson, a hero of the first game of this tournament as Canada upset the United States. Shots on goal, 10-1 favor Canada in this period, 21-6 total in the game, and you have to remember that 3 of those 6 shots came in the first 5 minutes. Here's a quick shot, score from the blue line. Brüs Драйвер with that big shot at his, and Canada leads 5-0.
I like the way Pätrik put that puck across for the shot from the point. That's what we're talking about, more shots. Watch where he puts it. He puts it so that Драйвер doesn't have to stop the pass as it comes across. He can hit it all in one motion, and the goaltender wasn't ready for the speed of that shot. But Pätrik just made that nice pass to Драйвер to wind up. He just put it across in the position where he didn't have to stop the pass first and then shoot. He was able to shoot all in one motion. Just put it a little ahead of him so he could get everything into it. One time, get it from the point.
One-handing it back is Low, but he couldn't get enough juice on that to get it back to Драйвер at the blue line, and so it winds up out at center ice. It deflects off a Norwegian player. Here's Low circling back. Low just stopping behind his own net now. In the corner for Драйвер. Драйвер flipping it along the board. Mira's got that one, but then it was stripped away by Low. Kerry Wilson going against the boards behind the net for Pat Flatley. Flatley out in front, hit somebody out there. Now Low doing a good job, and he rolled it in front, but again it was behind Wilson. Back out at center ice, the Norwegians coming down to the line, and it's checked away. Back here his line is Fojn again as he chased it all the way back into his own zone. Fojn then clearing it off the skate of Mira. Mira then clears it down the ice, and there'll be icing here as it's touched against the boards. No, it's waved off. Now out to the blue line, cleared out his center ice. Good burst of speed by Curtnall, but he couldn't get to it before it's cleared away by Mira, coming back. Now over the line comes Andерсен. Andерсен checked from behind by Driver. Flatley cuts in front of his own net. He puts it up center ice, and Wood is alone, but the buzzer goes just as he had the break. And we'll have the period ending. The shots on goal, 11-1. Canada outshot Norway in the period, outscored them 3-0, and they lead the game by a score of 5-0. So Canada comfortably in front after 2 periods of play. Our coverage of the Olympics continues in a moment. Third period of the hockey game. And from the face-off, it's cleared into the Norwegian end. Norway trying to get something going here against Canada. They had it going very early in the hockey game, and since then it has been very much in the control of Team Canada. Out in front of the net, Wilson just chopped it behind the net, and Flatley's got it there. We've had a goaltending change. Darren Elliott is in the nets now for Team Canada. A similar pattern to the Austrian game, where Gosselin played the first 2 periods, Elliott in there for a little work in the 3rd period. And that 5th goal, I guess, made it Dave King feel a little more comfortable, Tom.
Well, certainly, and of course, no goals against. That makes you feel even more comfortable, and now he's getting a little bit of a chance to use more of the troops, some of the people that haven't played as much, and give the other goaltender a little work, because after all, those are people who have worked all year, and it's important for them to play in the Olympic Games.
And from the face-off, Skore. Skore just backed up against the far boards, then shoots it off the boards and into the Team Canada zone, but Driver got it right back out again. Now Flatley controlling it inside his end to Driver, who backhands it around the net, and Lidstер can't contain it. Still in deep. Driver out along the boards, feeds it to center ice. It's knocked down out there. And cleared back into the Team Canada end. Tippett's there, number 8, along the boards. Donnelly just one-handing it off the boards, and it's back out at center ice again. Lusseman checked in against the boards by Muller inside the zone. And Team Canada. Donnelly to Driver, ahead for Muller. Muller with Tippett. Muller to the line, has to make a couple of moves, gets through, and then feeds it into the slot. Turning, shooting, right on there is Donnelly, and the save is made by Goldstein. Out comes Skore. Skore at center ice ahead. Over the line. It's checked away by Driver. Driver ahead for Tippett. Tippett just brushed past his man as he was checked at center ice. The puck went free, and Skore's got it in his own zone. Norway trying to get out. They work it out to center ice. Kallstad had trouble right at his own line. Now he's checked in against the boards, and it's held there long enough for the whistle, and a face-off outside the Norwegian blue line. 1:59 gone in the 3rd period. 5-0 Canada. Curtnall taking a draw, quick shot, and he's just wide of the net with it. On the far side, Andерсен feeding it in deep. Curtnall throws a check there. Gagné moves in behind the net, gets it out in front. Denьo scores!
Denьo has moved up and is playing forward on this shift, and Dave King has done that from time to time because he's an offensive defenseman right in the slot. The puck came around the boards. He's in the best position possible to get that shot away. The goaltender gets a piece of it, and then it rolls behind him. But Denьo is where he's supposed to be, right in that slot where the other 2 people are in there digging deep, and he's in the position to score a goal. But Denьo has been moved up, and this happens from time to time. Dave King likes his offensive skills.
Gagné and Curtnall will draw assists on that goal. And Canada leads 6-0. Lidster at center ice now. Lidster shooting it in, and it's offside. 6:37 the time of the goal. Canada's 6th. Denьo from Curtnall and Gagné. Face-off outside the blue line. 6:48 gone in the 3rd period. That for Denьo, the first of the tournament. Denьo, a tremendous you see Bob Wilson of our bobsled team. He has really led the cheering right in the middle of some Norwegian fans. Face-off, Wilson getting it into the corner, and their driver's got it. Driver knocked off his skates, clear to the line, and that's Dэрrén Lоу who backhands it out to center ice. Flatley chasing in after it as the Norwegians take over. The rink-wide pass is to Andерсен, and deflected off a stick and up into the Norwegian bench. And we'll have another face-off as we look at Pat Flatley. Pat, who's had a pretty good tournament on the top offensive line for Canada with Dэрrén Lоу, who, Tom, you have to think has played a pretty good game here tonight. He's
well, you know,
had a pretty good tournament.
He hasn't played all year with Lоу and with Wilson and with Flatley, but he's been moved into this line lately and during the tournament. And although he doesn't get or handle the puck as much as both Flatley or Wilson, he's a very valuable member of that line. He's digging all the time, and he's got a good shot.
Now moving it around the boards and starting out to center ice is Kарлstad. He takes a shot that's blocked at the defense. Bartel in the way. Now into the slot it comes again. Another quick shot just wide and in the corner. Canada taking over with Kerry Wilson. Wilson moving it out himself as they set up. He's got Flatley on the wing and gets the puck to him, but Flatley couldn't hold it. Swinging back is Livdahl. Rink-wide pass, Bestring's over the line, checked away from him by Driver. Played pretty well for Canada as well, and has a goal in this game. A hit for Muller. Muller circling at center ice, and he's hauled down. There'll be a penalty here as Canada gets it in over the line. Trying to control it is Pätrик. Pätrik pushed up against the boards, kicks it loose. Delayed whistle still on here as Denьo circles back. He's the extra man. Darren Elliott out of the net now is Donnelly. Donnelly backing deep into his own zone, gives to Courtnall now. A delayed whistle. Canada with an extra man on the ice now to Denьo. Denьo over the line, hustling after it. Donnelly cutting for the net. It's cleared behind the net now for Tippett. Tippett in front, nobody there, and it'll be Skore going after it against the boards along with Karlstad, and the whistle goes. Penalty will be called against Norway. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics continues in a moment.
You take charge, people taking charge.
So to suit your style, you drive a Chevy Camaro.
Taking charge in your own way. You're taking charge with Chevrolet.
The 84 Chevy Camaros. Fuel-injected sport coupe, high-tech Berlinetta, high-performance Z28, and a down-to-earth Chevy price from only $96.05. Chevy Camaro from $96.05.
Price the way you want to pay. You're taking charge with Chevrolet.
Over the years, your changing fuel needs have caused changes in us.
Morning, Joe. Time for gasoline.
In 1939, Esso introduced their new premium.
Esso Extra, please.
With the post-war car boom, the need for gasoline grew. Then came lower-cost self-serve.
Fill her up.
Yes, sir.
Unleaded gasoline.
Premium unleaded, please.
Diesel. And down the road, propane and future fuels. Anticipating your needs makes us better.
You make us better, you do. Esso.
Cleared off the boards and into the corner. Around the boards, Ellingson. Denьo turning. Gagné can't contain it at the blue line. Out at center ice. Poking it ahead is Lissaman. And Canada once again. A rink-wide pass. Picked up and quickly cleared into the Norwegian zone. Backboard is Lissaman again. Lissaman flipping it to the line. Not out. Denьo moving in. Clears it. They score. Deflected right in front of the net by Gagné. Canada 7-0.
Denьo, a nice play. The Norwegian defender was trying to get that puck high up out of the zone, and that's the danger you take, especially when you don't get everything into it or you try to put it in your backhand away from the hook for a defenseman. You've got to have that skill down pat to get it out. It's a very valuable skill for a defenseman. What happens, Denьo stops it right in the slot and just slides it to Gagné, and Gagné will never get an easier goal than that. He's right in behind the goaltender when he gets the pass. Denьo, sweet pass to Gagné, just the tip in, easy goal for Canada.
7-0. The score, Gagné from Denьo at 9:41 on the power play. The second power play goal for Canada in this game. Play underway, and back to Andерсен it goes, who clears the rink wide to Driver. Carpin's out there now, and he hustles in after it in the corner. He's number 31. Pile up back there. Mira picks it up. And the Norwegians try once again. At center ice, it's Abrahamsен. Abrahamsen to the line and swinging in, but he's taken out of the play again. That good defensive zone play of Team Canada. There just isn't an awful lot of room there for the Norwegians to operate. Flatley clearing it along the boards and he eased it out over center ice. And we've got some pushing and shoving. Are we going to have a fight here in international hockey? And we have got a fight going on. And Flatley, if it's charged fighting, boy, we've really got them going at it in there. If there's charged fighting, that's ejection, Tom, isn't it?
Well, it's Abramson and Flatley that were going at it, and that's the first time in this championship series that we've had that, and things are cooling out here rather quickly. But really, with the score here being 7-0 and not very much time left in the game, there's no reason for fighting, and I would think that the frustration. You see the players going to the boards, and there's what happens, you know, somebody look at the glove in the face, and of course, in North America, that doesn't happen, and then people get their gloves off, and there's the grappling going on. Yeah, Warren had been third man in there. Whoop, now he and Mira are at it, and of course, everybody gets in helping out their teammates, and that's when the linesmen have to earn their money.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how they charge this. I think it's going to be minor penalties. Flatley has gone to the bench, and he's going to get a minor penalty. Nothing else has been posted. Now it goes, and Abrahamsен is going in there as well.
Well, that's good on Kampala's part that, you know, that he wouldn't start issuing fighting penalties and misconducts and all of those things. Let the players finish the hockey game.
The goal, by the way, earlier by Gagne was his 4th of the tournament. I think that ties him for the team lead in goal scoring with Kerry Wilson. And Abrahamsen is going, Canada is going to get an extra 2. Oh, they're going to call double minors. All right, double penalties to 2 of them. So they'll be gone for 4 minutes. It's either you do that, Tom, or you throw them out. I guess they don't do that very often in international hockey. There's no line about dropping your gloves over here. If you drop your gloves, then you're in trouble. But I guess if you're fighting with your gloves on, you're all right. Seems to be the way they call it over here. Out at center ice now. Denьo cutting across the blue line and out to center ice, ducks away from a check. He's got lots of skating room out there now. Hits the line, fakes the shot, then got a weak shot away. Tippett in the corner. Tippett away from a check. Tippett out into the slot and deflected away. And Denьo was cutting across the blue line towards the far side, so it missed him. So 2-2 roughing on both penalties and for both players. Thrown out of the line, Tippett getting it in front of the net, back to the line. Denьo moving in, just flips it in front. Here's Donnelly. Donnelly slammed up against the board. Mira threw it to an open wing. Catching up to it is Ellingson. He's at center ice. Ellingson over the line and a shot into the corner. Lidster back there, number 4. Lidster, far side, gets it again. Gets it from Driver, or at least from Denьo this time. Lidster gets it to Denьo, and he's out at center ice now. Lowe is on the ice. He just came off the bench in the top side as Denьo tried to make a play at the line and put himself offside. 13:49 gone in the third period. I mean, 6:11 left in the hockey game, and Canada leading 7-0.
Dave King probably doesn't mind this situation 4-on-4 for 4 minutes, because you know what happens in tough hockey games, and we're going to see some coming up in the last game in this preliminary round against Czechoslovakia and the medal round. One of the things that happens in those games is the referees don't want to penalize some people so that they're, you know, really considered that they're affecting the game. And what they do is they put 2 guys off a lot of times. In those big games, a lot of times you are playing 4-on-4. So having a little practice here for 4 minutes towards the end of the last sort of least important game of the tournament will give the people a little bit of chance to work at that 4-on-4.
Well, there are many people, as you saw, number 27, there's Pat Flatley, number 27, Kirk Muller. There are many who think that Muller might be the first draft choice in the 1984 draft, the junior draft. He plays with Guelph in the OHL. Tremendous player.
I had Kirk Muller at an elite midget camp in Ontario 2 years ago, and I can't believe how much he's developed in 2 years. He's a fine young man and a great hockey player for his age. I'll tell you that. He's going to be a good one.
Dэрren Lоу just missed the net there on a setup from Muller. Out at center ice, Flatley. Flatley turning. Of course, the debate will be, is Muller number 1 or is Mario Lemieux of Laval number 1? We may see 3 or 4 first-round choices in this game. Here's a 2-on-1, and it's Muller carrying the puck. Lowe catching up. Lowe gets the pass, backhands it, and he backhanded it wide. Muller behind the net. He's checked, loses his stick, and out comes Lissaman. Lissaman at center ice for Norway, to the line, drops it back. It's Lövdahl moving in. He's chased behind the net, tried to one-handed out into the slot. There's nobody there to get it, and chased back behind the net, and they strip it loose finally as it was lying in against the boards. Finally, Gagne's got it. He clears it along the boards. On this side, it's Muller through center ice. Back to get it is Kärlstad. Kärlstad at the side of his net. Lead pass is off the stick of Christiansen. And back into his own zone, Bärtell. Bärtell backhanding it, keeping it in at the line is Christiansen. Courtnall now with Gagné. Courtnall over the line. Courtnall set, gets the room, but then tried to feed it across the goal mouth for Gagné. And Gagné was tied up on the play. Now the Norwegians starting out. Gagné with 2 goals in this game. It was clear he was trying to set him up for his hat trick. Now Lidstер. Lidster bringing back inside his own zone. Canada leading 7-0 here. He's got less than 4 minutes and 3 seconds left now. Here's a chance for Courtnall. He rolled it into the goal mouth, but staying on his feet was Goldstein to make the save. Here's the rink-wide pass. Intercepted. Now starting out of his end zone is Kärlstad off the stick of Andersson. Past Karpin to Lidster. Lidster to Karpin. Karpin up along the boards, works to the line, and then feeds it into the corner. Back to get it for Norway is Fojn. Tippett checked against the boards. It comes back to the point. Here's Denьo's shot, and it's deflected up into the crowd and called. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment. And it winds up at center ice. Here's a 3-on-1. Only Pätrик back. Here's the chance. They roll it in and score. Well, Canada got a little careless at the line, and it wound up as a 3-on-1. Coming out with only Pätrik back. That's a tough one to defend against. And late in the game, Canada gives up a goal.
Well, you don't like to give up a goal at any time. You don't like to give up the last goal in the hockey game, but certainly there's very little that can be done. Gosselin has to come across. You see Pätrik trying to dive and stop that pass coming across. Look at that outstretched stick. Gosselin tries to prevent it, but of course, as the puck comes across, it's a tip in for the Norwegian player, and they get on the score sheet for the first time today.
So 7-1 the score. And Fojn gets the credit for it. Fojn from Andersson, Kato Andersson at 16:44. It was only their second shot this period, but on a 3-on-1. Deep in the zone, Canada on the attack again. As Ellingson then takes it. Ellingson. Lissaman out over his own blue line and bounces it down into the Team Canada end, and their Driver's got it. Driver away from the check, but the icing had been called. The face-off back again in the Norwegian end.
Let's score the last goal. That's what you like to do. You don't like to give up the last goal. Even in a game that's been an easy game for you, you don't want to give up that last goal. You don't want to go in thinking they scored the last time. Let's get a goal to end off the hockey game.
Going blood.
No, the last goal. You don't want to give up that last goal.
Backhanded into the corner now. Bärtell. That's Muller. Muller out in front. There's your chance. And it was Donnelly who got that shot away, but it was saved by Goldstein. In against the boards. Donnelly wrestled to the boards, and the puck is brought out by Barris into center ice. Over the line comes Leanne. He is checked up against the boards, and we'll have a face-off in the center ice zone. Face-off outside the blue line. Wilson hooks it back into his zone for Lidster. Lidster gets it out to center ice once again, and crossing the red line, shoots it in. And the Norwegians start out. Off the leg of Kerry Wilson. Back over the line now for Norway is Kärlstad, but he's checked. Back out at center ice once again. Wilson has it. Wilson beating it back into his own zone. Exactly 2 minutes left of this hockey game now as Flatley shoots it in. Takes a hit as he did so, but he got a 2-line pass. And we'll have a face-off inside the Team Canada line. Gary Crawford, our statistician, has updated us on the Team Canada stats for the tournament. Kerry Wilson leading the way with 4 goals and 4 assists for 8 points. Pat Flatley with 3 goals and 4 assists for 7 points. Дэйv Ганье has 4 goals and 2 assists for 6 points. He's had a 4-point day here today. And Kirk Muller with 3 goals and 1 assist for 4 points. That is through to this moment here in the tournament. Next, of course, Czechoslovakia. Bernie and Tom will be here for that one. Here's Ганье going in, looking for his hat trick. Shoots it, scores! Дэйv Ганье has scored the hat trick. And there's your last goal, maybe, Tom.
That's important. Ganier did just the opposite that he did on his other breakaway. Here you see him again, his second breakaway. The last time he faked and went to his forehand. This time he fakes. Goaltender thought he was going to the forehand, come to the backhand and just slides it underneath him. So he did just exactly the opposite to score a goal as he did on his last breakaway. That time going to his backhand and sliding it. Time before he went to his forehand and put it in the top shelf over top of the goaltender.
All right, now it is 8-1. Pätrик out at center ice. Ganier again, a rink-wide pass, trying to get it to Karpin. They tried to set him up earlier, and it didn't work. This time he just got the puck alone and went in. The 2 breakaway goals of his 3. And we have a minute 20 left in the hockey game. There's a shot just wide of the net. Darren Elliott has not had an awful lot of work in this period, just 2 shots to handle. One of them went in on a 3-on-1 break. Nothing Elliott could do about that at all. Back inside the zone, Leanne. Muller knocked it down, gave it to Karpin. Just deflected to Karpin, actually. And it's back inside the Norwegian zone again. Norwegian starting out. Cleared in. The side of the net, Bartel. At the side, there's a quick shot. Down on his knees is Elliott as he handles his 3rd shot of the period. Now over the line, and working for the net is Дэйв Доннелли. Donnelly is ridden into the corner by Abrahamsen with 28 seconds left in the hockey game. Mira out at center ice. He's over the line. Mira stopping up against the boards. Checked in there, got the pass away behind the net, but Tippett is right there. 15 seconds left now at center ice. Here's Donnelly's shot. That's right on. Glove by Goldstein. He leaves it for Christiansen. Christiansen with 5 seconds left comes out to center ice now. Christiansen working to the line. Is checked away from him, and that'll be it. Canada has defeated Norway 8-1, led by a 5-point day from Дэйv Ганье. A hat trick included. And now he is tied with 7 points with Flatley for the team lead in scoring. So Canada continues on undefeated through 4 games. Final score 8-1. Coverage of the 14th Winter Olympics will continue in a moment.